So, mm, we were asked what is the role, if there is any role of visualization in yoga, and is that the same as the general understandings and general ideas of visualization? Now, visualization has become very big, especially since Shakti Gawain's very famous book, justly famous book, Creative Visualization. It's a very old book now, 30 years, but it has been a process that many people are practicing, and people not necessarily in spiritual areas of life have also found that visualization is a very creative and powerful tool or method or technique that they can use. So I don't want to get into that because really there is nothing beyond Shakti Gawain's book in terms of the nitty-gritty of the process. But from a yogic perspective, now you see a large part of guided meditation and things like that where you're asked to visualize things, you're given very specific instructions, or even meditating upon a murti, meditating upon the form of the guru, the form of the devta, all that is visualization only. Because you meditate on the external murti until you can create that mental picture very firmly in your mind, then you don't need the external locus anymore. You hold that with it. So visualization has been, I think from the inception, visualization has been part of yoga. Yantras are done visually. Pujas are done visually. The large part of how you make the yantras, the large part of how you do the puja vidhi is visualization. The large part of how you activate a murti so that it is useful in worship is visualization. But today, what I am finding is that visualization has become a sort of, it has been forcibly yoked into the manifestation school of thought, where we intensely visualize something or we intensely desire something and then it manifests in our life. Now, I'm not saying that is untrue, but I'm saying it is not so simple as all that. It's not that if you hold a picture very firmly in your mind, or what they call make a storyboard, make a wish board, put it up and look at it, or hold that picture firmly in your mind, and then the secret, the law of attraction, we attract it to us. Yes, it is true. It is a very old saying in yoga, we attract what we are. Now, people forget, they think, oh wow, that's wonderful, that's fantastic, that's such an awesome saying. It did not say we attract what we desire. And most people do not use visualization to attract what they are, or what is in line with their swadharma, what is in line with their enteleki, or what is in line with the prarabdha karma, the karma already active. Most people use visualization to attract something that they desire, something that is out of their current reach or out of their current, and so now we have a problem. The problem is we attract what we are. So if what you desire is not what you have, you can do all the visualizations and all the affirmations till Armageddon, till Pralaya, and it won't happen, and then you will be told that's because your visualization is not strong enough. Now I won't talk about Sankalpa. Sankalpa is the determined act of will, where we make a formulation, we make a determination that something will manifest. I'll talk about Sankalpa some other time. Visualization is part of Sankalpa, certainly. But here is the problem. If we can attract what we are and what we desire is not what we are, then we have two choices. Either we can give up desiring what is not intrinsic and inherent to us, or we have to transform ourselves so that what we are is what we desire. Now, this is not something that people like to hear, because people want to hear that this process is very simple, it doesn't cost any money. very important. It doesn't cost any effort, even more important. And then somehow magically we transform into some kind of magnet, and then whatever we visualize comes rushing towards us on a conveyor belt. That is not true. There are too many factors at play. Now, first problem in visualization is the average person is not good at visualization. There are some people who are born to it. There are some people who, because they have some kind of artistic training, or they learn over time, their visual sense develops, the sense of visual depth develops. I was not very good at visualization, but I had an extraordinarily visual sight. I could see things in a frame of a movie or a painting that other people would miss. It would just pass by and I could probably grasp everything. But if you ask me, go to a place and there is a meadow there and there's a mountain in the background and clouds and there are purple flowers and no go whatsoever, all that would be in my head was blackness. Anytime I would try to visualize, I would see this dark blackness, and then certain spiritual stage happened, something activated, and then it was on full time. Though I have not had color dreams as yet. I think my dreams are still in black and white. So it was very fascinating to me because I would mention something that was playing out in a frame of a movie. A sequence is going on, and I would mention something, and the others would be like, "What?" I'd say, "Didn't you see that? It was very clearly there." So I had this extraordinary visual perception, or I had this extraordinary ability to take in detail, and I had zero ability to run a simulation, for want of a better word. Yeah. On the other hand, you had somebody like Nikola Tesla. He was one of the greatest human beings ever born, one of the greatest geniuses ever born. And before he would construct a machine, he would assemble it in his mind, and then he would run the simulation in his mind. So the point of breakdown, the point of wear and tear, the point of explosion, everything he could play it out in his sense of visualization, or his power of visualization was so extraordinary. But he was a man who was always struggling for money and material. So his power of visualization has nothing to do with his power of manifestation. So he's probably one of the great, or even why go that far? Why go to Tesla? Leonardo da Vinci, who's universally acknowledged as one of the very greatest human beings, but this might shock people, but he was a failure. His society always regarded him as a person who never achieved his full potential. His society always regarded him as a problem. I mean, most people don't realize that his entire reputation as a great artist, which is a very merited reputation, there are only 17 paintings, out of which 3 times he painted Saint Anne and Jesus and Mary. He was obsessed with that, and then he painted the Annunciation 3 times. 17 paintings are what is, of course, there are notebook after notebook after notebook of sketches, but completed works. Sculpture, he was a great sculptor also. How many sculptures? Very few. So something went wrong in his ability to manifest, because it is very obvious that there were very few minds like that ever. Even today, I mean, the man visualized parachutes and helicopters and submarines and armored cars when there was no context to build those machines, and he had it all worked out. He had all the principles worked out. So here we have a problem. The visualization is at a supernatural level and the manifestation is not happening at all. So very often this problem, they keep telling you that if you can visualize, you can manifest, and I'm sorry, it's not true. And the fact of the matter is, Leonardo really did not get the social power. Everybody knew we are in the presence of a genius, but he never became socially influential the way Michelangelo became or Rubens became. He never ever became respected and valued in society the way that he should have been. And all his life he was casting about, searching for patrons, searching for recognition. It's quite tragic when you see it, that here is a man that today everybody is universally aghast at the extent of the talent and the genius and the ability, and it did not amount to as much as it could have. And even Nikola Tesla is the same story. Everybody knows that it's a toss-up whether Tesla was more intelligent or Einstein was more intelligent. He was at that level of brilliance. But who got the name as the great inventor? Thomas Alva Edison, who was essentially like a thief of other people's ideas. So visualization is only one part of the whole story. If you want to use visualization to transform your life, you must realize that just the ability to hold something firmly in the mind or even in your emotion, because they tell you feel it very deeply to your core, feel it, desire it, smell it, taste it, engulf in it, be drowned in it. And I'm like, is this a desire to manifest or is it some kind of drowning accident? Where everything, so all true, but visualization does not automatically lead to manifestation. Manifestation, I am sorry, requires Shakti. Now either you have that Shakti naturally. I had mentioned Donald Trump, and he is a guy who can manifest very easily. He's gone bankrupt how many times? 3 times. 4 times, and there, he's back on top, and he's back again not as a millionaire, as a billionaire. When he comes back, because his basic thermostat is to be a billionaire. And most people desire to be rich, but they don't have the qualities of a rich person. They don't have the skills, they don't have the ability, they don't have the mindset. In fact, in many of these how to be a millionaire books, they keep telling you, you make $1 million not for the $1 million, but for the skills that you need to develop so that you end up with $1 million. The kind of work you'll have to do, the kind of personality transformations that you'll have to do to yourself, that is the real payback and that is the real value. Not the $1 million at the end of it, because many people do get $1 million and then the money goes. It's well known, it's a very well observed fact that lottery winners hardly ever hang on to their winnings. Within 3 to 4 years, they are back to the day they won the lottery, which is pretty ghastly thing if you come to think of it. They don't know how to manage money. They don't know what to do with this windfall. They spend it on all kinds of futile things. They invest in ridiculous schemes. They just don't know what to do. So, was that manifestation? Yes. Was that visualization? Maybe, may not be. We are talking about visualization. As a skill, is that the core issue of manifestation and transforming life? No. It is just a bonus. So, in many books, in many methods, they tell you, unless you can see the picture in mind, no, it is not the core. The intention is the core. If you have that strong intent, I am very sure Trump is not having storyboards. He is not making my ideal life. He is not making that. He is not sticking pictures of cars he needs to buy and things like that. The intention is what? Visualization, why does it work? Because or why is visualization needed? Because it provides a certain grounding. When they say, think of that what you want. When you do a Murti Puja, when you are doing worship of your Ishta Devta, you have certain form. That form has certain qualities. That form has certain powers. That form has certain abilities. All those are things which you wish to develop in yourself. So obviously it starts with visualization. It starts with a desire. It starts with a visual. If I was like that, what would I be like? And especially in weight gain and weight loss kind of stuff, they keep telling you, think of when you are ripped, when you are all pumped up and you have gained the muscle, keep holding that picture in your mind. Or the other way around, think of how nice you will feel when you can finally fit into all those sexy clothes. But very, very few people make it. Because of this reason, visualization is only part of the process. Visualization cannot be the full process, and people keep making this blunder. They keep making this mistake that if I can just hold the picture in my mind, it will happen. No, that requires sankalpa shakti, it requires power of intention, and then it requires power of manifestation. How do you make your sankalpa come into reality? So it's only one aspect. It's a very helpful aspect. I would be the last person to say that visualization is not important, and especially when you're doing guided meditation or some such thing, all of movie making, for instance, is visualization first. They storyboard it, or then they create some kind of new spectacle. So it's a very creative process also. All of art is like that. A lot of science is like that. They run the simulation in their mind. They visualize what is possible. The famous story of how the benzene ring was discovered, that the scientist working on it had just exhausted himself with calculations and calculations and calculations, and it fell asleep in front of the fire, and within the fire he saw this serpent swallowing its own tail, but it was in that famous carbon bond, the 6, and that is how the whole structure, organic chemistry, was invented with the Ouroboros, the serpent eating its tail. Do not mistake what is a helpful tool. Do not mistake what is a helpful process for the process itself. Visualization is not manifestation, and where, in fact, to an extent, even Shakti Gawain's book falls short. Because she manifests instinctively and automatically. So she thinks it is the act of holding that image so strongly in my mind which makes it happen. But subconsciously the whole manifestation vibration is also going on. So the two have to be very clearly understood. Now if you can powerfully visualize and you can activate that whole vibration of manifestation, you have the skill of manifestation, good for you. Now you can get into trouble also. I'll tell you one of my personal anecdote, because it's quite funny in how one must be careful about sending an intention into the world. It's like a vagrant intention. The visualization is strong, and unfortunately with the visualization a sort of manifestation gets hooked also, and then without your knowing it, or without your... So a few months back I just made an observation that my briefcase is becoming ratty. It's becoming old, it's flaking away and everything. So I need to get a new one. So I get gifted one. Wow, I'm really on fire. I can manifest what I desire. I get gifted another. Yeah. Okay, this is a bit too much of a good thing. Yeah. I'm teaching somebody breaths, that person offers, I'll get you this, it's very wonderful. And 2 weeks back, 1 week back, I get gifted a fourth one. I'm like, stop it. this this has to stop. Why am I getting panicky? Because so much Shakti is going waste. One is perfectly adequate, and Shakti that could have gone into manifesting something else, merely because unawareness, without controlling my thought, as a yogi, unforgivable sin. I just let that intention loose into the world. Vagrant visualization, vagrant intention, now I am being punished for it. You feel really happy when you do some such thing, and then it's like that, the sorcerer's apprentice where he can't shut it off. Yeah, he does the spell so that the house is cleaned and then he can't shut it off. And I'm like, briefcase, stop. And it is a punishment. It is very simply, I am being given a little lesson. You are not to send out casual thoughts into the world. You are not meant to use your Shakti in, because it is tactile pleasure, that I have a nice briefcase and it looks so nice and it feels so nice. Self-indulgence. You are not to do self-indulgence. Now drown. And I'm like, why are all these people, all people I haven't met in years, are because they know it's an old liking of mine. People know that he likes briefcases. And 2 days back, I get offered again by somebody. I saw one lovely. I said, please, never. If you have that kind of generosity bubbling up, put it into an envelope and give it to me. Don't buy briefcases. And I used to have the same thing with watches and shoes and many, many things. And of course, the reason this lesson happened was I was very proud. I've broken that. I've broken that problem of idle visualization, and then the Shakti gets attached to that, and then stuff starts manifesting. I was very, okay, I've broken it. Wow, progress. Sabash, and here it comes. It was very interesting. And what was more interesting to me was to see that I've still not got over my love for briefcases. All of them I love. But it was, I mean, such a learning moment, that be careful how you use your mind. Be careful how you use your abilities, because it will come back and you're losing out. See, this is the other thing that is not said in all these books, and it is very wrong. I wouldn't say it is criminal, but I would say it is a big blunder. Do not waste your ability to manifest on futile things. The really important things, if you start frivolous and futile and frittery things, if you start manifesting them, when you really need a big push of Shakti for something valuable, because you have trained yourself in trivia, you have trained yourself in manifesting frippery, you can't manifest the really important thing. And I cannot overstate this. Be aware of what thought you are sending out, especially your visualization, because the human species is very, archetypes are first and foremost images. If you send an image into the world, that has its own resonance and that has its own power. So visualization is an act of responsibility. You should not visualize just idly, you should not just do that because it seems to be, because now after this I'll think 10 times before I desire anything, because others, it's not the issues with the briefcases, it's the waste of Shakti that is harrowing me. All of this is valuable Shakti that could have been used in something more important and more significant. And because in unawareness, in carelessness, I sent my thought out here. And because, the ego was rising in self-congratulation, here, nice little pin came and that balloon got punctured. So I don't like this privileging of visualization, because people don't realize that if simultaneously they are doing some kind of sadhana, they are doing some kind of other processes, and the control over the visualization or the manifestation is not perfect, and the two get joined and it goes out in some chaotic jumble into the world, and then that's it, you're drowning under briefcases. And everybody has stories like that, that things which I don't really require comes easily to me. This is the reason. Because we sent a request to the world, and the world really cannot distinguish. The universe really cannot distinguish. Are you really serious about that, or is it just idleness on your part? You sent it out. And the Lamborghini that you wanted, you don't really believe in your heart of hearts that you can have the Lamborghini. Yeah. So people will sit and do that, I will get the Lamborghini, I will get 4 crores next year, and I'm like, the minute he says that, you can hear there is no conviction in the voice only. But things like this, which are easily manifested. No, that was actually one of them broke, which when I took it to the shop, they were shocked. They said, in 25 years we've never seen this happen to one of the briefcases. That is actually a little spite. That's okay, that was not important, so I didn't bring that in. One must be careful, especially for those in yoga. One must be careful what visual formations we are creating, because you never know when the answer comes. But like I said, visualization is not the power of manifestation is more important than the power of visualization. I know many people who have zero visualization skills, they can manifest like that. Though it helps, it's a very fine support. It's a very great help. I think that's enough. I'll have disheartened many people anyways, but still, it needed to be said. Sarvam Shivamaya.